A byproduct of our coronavirus culture, discarded protective gear like gloves and masks now being seen in the streets and sidewalks. It's of course unsightly, but does it also pose a health risk? Matt Johnson looked into it.
Surgical masks and protective gloves have become common sight around LA as the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases tick up.
I have little kids and elderly parents, and I want to protect them.
But masks and gloves could in fact be spreading coronavirus. Health experts warn about the high number of PPE or personal protection equipment littering Los Angeles neighborhoods. Need proof? These pictures are posted on sites like Reddit. But it didn't take long for us to find several gloves and masks on city streets.
I mean, I am concerned to a little bit, but with my religious back views and all that, my time comes, you know. So, I mean, if I'm here having a good time, so I'm here having a good time.
It's crazy, like what's happening, but all in all, yeah, like it's just another beach day. It's a beautiful day. Why would we not come to the beach and like have a good day with it? It's very unfortunate that the coronavirus is going on, but like we're all here. We're still having a good time. Classes got canceled, or jobs got canceled. I work full time, so what else am I supposed to do? Come out here, enjoy a good beach day. It's a beautiful day right now, and it does suck that this virus is taking over, but we're gonna still hang out. We're still gonna enjoy our time.
Obviously, I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm from New Jersey. So back home where we live is obviously a lot worse than it is right now. So my family doesn't even want me to come home for that reason. But like right now, for us personally, we've been avoiding the bars and everything just because now bars and restaurants, as of yesterday, have been closed down. So we've been trying to stay away, but at the same time, when it's nice like this, we are coming to the beach. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely brought a mask to the beach and hand sanitizer, of course. And I just feel like Coastal really hasn't been taking it that serious. They kicked us out, but that was really about it. And they didn't really, I don't feel like the state's not taking it that serious, so we're still here.
It was super packed against a lot of spring breakers were down here, probably at the house, hung over a little bit, but right now it's a beautiful, typical summer day, almost summer day, spring day I'll say.
I would say it's pretty normal. You know, the restaurants aren't open, but it's okay. It's okay.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jamie Bohl. Here at home, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper announced a stay-at-home order for everyone in the state. The statewide order will begin at 5 p.m. on Monday. WBTV's chief investigative reporter Nick Oxner is live now with the details on this. And Nick, those in Mecklenburg, Cabarrus, and Gaston counties already under a stay-at-home order. The governor had seemed reluctant to do it statewide. What changed?
Yeah, Jamie, well, but the way Governor Cooper talked about it, he needed this extra time to consult with his lawyers, a lot of other stakeholders to craft an order that impacts everyone across the state. Earlier this week on Tuesday on a call with county commissioners statewide, Governor Cooper said he has to weigh that not necessarily might work for one urban area, would work for a rural area on the other side of the state, so it took a longer time to implement an order like this.
This breaking news into our newsroom. Governor Henry McMaster has issued an executive order closing all public access points to the state's beaches. This includes closure of all public boat ramps, landings, and other access points on the state's lakes, rivers, and other waterways. The governor says after the behaviors observed this past weekend, it is a necessary action to prevent the spread of this dangerous virus. The order does not, however, impact the rights of owners who live on these properties.
Of course, we've seen the alarming spring break videos out of Florida. College students doing very little social distancing on those crowded beaches. Now the University of Tampa says 5 of its students have now tested positive for coronavirus after traveling on a spring break trip.
Well, the university has now moved all of its classes online, but resident halls are still open and some students are still in close contact.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has faced criticism over not closing beaches to spring breakers.
Well, now more states are tightening rules on non-essential gatherings to stop the spread of the growing coronavirus outbreak.
Public agencies are cracking down on outdoor gathering places. Malibu Pier is now off limits, and Runyon Canyon could be shut down as well. KTLA's Christina Pascucci live in Malibu with more on these new enforcement measures. Christina, good morning.
Hi, Jessica. Good morning to you. Well, last week, you might remember we were sharing those images of the Florida beaches and a lot of people criticizing, saying how could these people just not listen to the rules and go outside and congregate in crowds and risk everyone else who's staying at home and spread the virus. Well, that was what this became behind me here at the pier, and we have images to show you. People saw this picture, and it actually even made national news, and then Malibu became criticized and under the microscope, and why didn't you close down the pier? All these questions were raised, especially given the fact that Santa Monica Pier, Huntington Beach, Manhattan Beach, all of those cities decided to close their piers. The thing is, the pier's run by state parks, and initially they tried to resist. They told people, you know, practice social distancing, do the right thing, but people didn't heed those warnings. They wanted to try to, the city wanted to try to help the local businesses, as did state parks. There's Malibu Farm, a restaurant on here. They have the farmers market that happens here. They were trying to do it every day to sell produce to people. But now that can't happen because just too many people came out. They weren't practicing social distancing. And so city officials, the city manager, got together with the county and state parks to shut the pier down. And listen to what they told me.
Malibu had a lot of people here, especially our pier and our beaches and our hiking trails. Lots of people who were not practicing social distancing. The Mountains Recreation Conservation Authority, which controls all of the Santa Monica Mountains, had closed all of its trails, parking lots, any related buildings, restroom facilities. So the Santa Monica Mountains are not open to hiking.
So you heard the mayor talk about the MRCA, which closed the trails, but there are still plenty open and people are allowed to go on them. However, the big warning is that if you do go outside to exercise, which you are allowed to do under these stay-at-home orders, you should practice social distancing. Not do what we saw at Runyon Canyon, the site in Hollywood. It's a popular hiking spot. You may be looking at those images right now. And because of all the crowds that gathered there over the weekend, the LA City Councilman, Root, he wants Runyon and also Lake Hollywood Park closed on weekends to try to avoid what we saw in the past weekend. So a lot of the places you might want to go outdoors to exercise, get some air, are starting to close because people aren't following orders. This is a list of them. Santa Monica Stairs, another very popular spot. And with all of these closures, where can you go? I think we have the supers to show you, which is this at the bottom of the screen, a graphic to give you an idea. You have malibucity.org/coronavirus, and then also the website for the state parks. I'll also put that on my Twitter page at Christina KTLA. I just texted with the owner of Malibu Farm. Hopefully we'll talk to him later today. And he said, even though the pier is closed, they remain open for business. They're taking to-go orders and will offer curbside moving forward. I'm Christina Pascucci, reporting live from Malibu. Frank, Jessica, I'll send it back to you.
I've not hesitated to take tough steps and to make unpopular choices if I believe it will save the lives of the city that I love and its people. In recent days, we closed lots at Venice Beach, closed the Venice Pier, Runyon Canyon, Bronson Canyon, and many team sports facilities in our parks. Starting tomorrow, the parks will remain open for walking or jogging, but we will close all park amenities, including skate parks and tennis courts. We will continue doing what we have to do to prevent all gatherings. I don't want to do these things. I do them each with a heavy heart. Today would have been opening day for the Dodgers. It would have been amazing to be out there, to drink in a wonderful LA day, and to see our Dodgers on the way to what I hope this year could have been, and still who knows might be, the year we go all the way. But each one of these steps and these things that we're removing, know that they are just temporary. They are not forever, but they are absolutely critical, and I need your help.
California State Parks has shut down parking lots at several popular beaches in Orange County. The list includes Huntington State Beach, Bolsa Chica, Doheny State Beach, San Clemente State Beach, and San Onofre. While parking is shut down, the beaches themselves will stay open for people who can walk in or ride their bikes there.
Campgrounds, picnic areas, and restrooms within the Cleveland and San Bernardino National Forests are now closed to the public until at least April 30th, but officials say trails will remain open and social distancing of 6 feet or more should be practiced.
Totally sorry. I want to have Mr. Jones come up. He's the Director of Beaches and Harbor.
Good afternoon. The Department of Beaches and Harbors operates and maintains many beaches along 25 miles of the county's coastline. Last weekend, we saw thousands of people congregate on our beaches despite requests to stay safer at home. To discourage further unsafe gatherings along the coast, we removed volleyball nets and closed all beach parking lots. But given the spread of COVID-19 in this county, that is not enough. This morning, we began closing our beaches altogether and shuttering remaining beach amenities, including restrooms and the bike path. We are posting signs and taking other steps to notify beach patrons of these closures. We request that everyone abide by the health officer's order. For the health and safety of all Los Angeles residents, we cannot afford to see a repeat of last week's crowded beaches this holiday weekend. The risk of spreading COVID-19 is too great. Please stay home. Beaches and Harbor staff will be monitoring the coastline and coordinating with the lifeguards and local beach cities, including Malibu and the South Bay cities, on this unprecedented closure. We will also be coordinating with the sheriff and local law enforcement agencies to ensure compliance with this order. Additionally, we are coordinating with the City of Los Angeles, the City of Santa Monica, and the state, which also operate beaches in the health officer's jurisdiction, and with the Department of Public Works, which operates the now closed bike path. I want to acknowledge Supervisors Hahn and Kuehl in their leadership in assisting with the facilitation and coordination with the beach cities in their respective districts. I want also to express my appreciation for the work done by DBH crews 365 days a year to care for our iconic beaches, which are an indelible part of the fabric of Southern California and known throughout the world. The mission of the men and women of our department is caring for our coast, and they will do so throughout this pandemic. But now is also the time for us to care for one another, to care for ourselves, and to care for our community. If we help each other now, we'll be back at the beaches soon. Thank you. And now we're ready for questions. With regards to your question on enforcement, enforcement will take the shape of many forms across the different jurisdictions that comprise the Los Angeles coastline. That will include the sheriff's office and the various PDs with the cities. The Department of Beaches and Harbors staff also has code enforcement officers who will continue to patrol along with our operating crews, and we will essentially be a public information source and goodwill ambassadors, if you like, to try and ensure that the public are abiding by this health order. The coastline is long. There are obviously lots of access points to the beaches. So we really do need people to follow this order and to realize that it is for our benefit, entire benefit. And we will continue to coordinate with each of the city jurisdictions and beach operator jurisdictions on enforcement.
After seeing large crowds flock to our local beaches last weekend, officials have now closed all beaches in LA County.
Of course, a lot of questions comes with that. Where can we go? What can we do? What can't we do? What does this mean for you? So joining us right now is lifeguard. His name is Pono Barnes, and he's joining us live from Hermosa Beach. Good morning to you. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Okay, so the big question, tell us the do's and the don'ts. What can we do? What can't we do?
Yeah, so yesterday, the County of Los Angeles health officer issued an amendment to the Safer at Home public health order to include all trails, beaches, all the bike paths that are adjacent to the sand here, as well as the beach access points along the coast here in Los Angeles County. And so that also includes the water 1,000 yards out from where it meets the sand here.
So that would include surfers.
That would include surfers. I'm sorry, Mark.
Oh, wait. So help me out right here. Let's just say, hypothetically, you're watching from Manhattan Beach, and you're fortunate enough to live on the water, right? So you want to go out for a surf, you have a board. Can you walk from your home on the Strand to the water, or will you guys hand out a citation?
So unfortunately, the public health order does include the sand all the way 1,000 yards out into the water. Lifeguards will not be issuing tickets. We are not a law enforcement agency, but we will advise patrons of the change to the public health order, and we are partnering with local law enforcement to help enforce this.
So basically, you're gonna, make contact and say, hey, you can't be out here. This is against, the order right now. And if they don't cooperate, then you have to call in somebody else to back up.
Yeah, and lifeguards are pretty good at, the power of persuasion, and we'll use some level of decorum, and hopefully people will comply without having to get law enforcement involved.
Is there anything that we can do to help you? We always say, like, if there's a high surf advisory, go check in with a lifeguard. Can folks come up to you and ask you questions if need be?
Yeah, so lifeguards will be out patrolling the beaches. We'll be kind of probably closer towards the shoreline or the water line. But if you see a lifeguard, we are still responding to calls back on the street. We had a couple of bike accidents up in the parking lots in Torrance yesterday. So we'll still be out and about. So feel free to come out and talk to us. That's what we're here for. We're here for public service and public safety.
So, Pono, can you talk about what it was like last weekend? We saw just the beaches were just packed. The trails were packed. That's why this order had to go into effect. How difficult was it for you guys last weekend seeing that people were not 6 feet apart?
Yeah, so we had very large crowds on the sand, large groups, and then the bike paths all up and down the coast of LA County were just absolutely packed. Here in the southern section of this area from San Pedro up to the south side of Marina del Rey, our attendance was reported at just over 100,000 people. And in Hermosa alone here, we had about 20,000 people just all up and down the beach here. So I get the need and the want to get out and be out in the sun, especially when it's so nice. And the crowds were consistent with the conditions we were having, but unfortunately we have this global pandemic on our hands right now, and so everybody needs to do their part to start social distancing and taking care of this thing.
Pono, we know you guys are LA County. Have you been in contact with the officials down in Orange County? Do you know what they're doing? Are they allowing surfing? Do you know the answer to that?
So it's kind of scattered all the way down the coast. I know Laguna Beach is doing it, San Diego lifeguards. I think the one last beach, I believe, is Newport, but a few of them were calling and talking to us as to how we were going about enforcement. So it looks like it's going to be happening all up and down the coast of California.
All right, as they say, don't kill the messenger.
That's right.
Don't shoot the messenger. We're just
Never.
It's not our decision.
Yeah.
We just have to follow the rules. Hey, Pono,
appreciate it.
thanks so much for reaching out to us. We appreciate that information. Stay safe out there.
Yeah, thanks for clearing it up for us. We appreciate it. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good day.
All right, take care.
My-
So you were saying that they need to shut down the beaches,
They
and I
need to
can't
shut the
believe
beaches
it.
down if
And
they
I was
want
like,
everyone to
oh, no. How can they shut down a whole beach? They can't shut down the whole beach. People just have to take responsibility. We have to do what's right. My rose-colored glasses that they talk about. Naive. Okay, so all of a sudden they close down the beach, and so he's right. But I don't think you're right anymore.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. We asked the LA County lifeguard. We said, can you surf, let's say, in Manhattan Beach if you live on the Strand?
Right.
He said no. And I'm thinking of that. If you've been to Manhattan Beach, the walk from the essentially the pavement to the sand, that's like a 250-yard walk.
We have a question.
So I understand that, but let's just say,
Malibu?
let's say you live in Malibu and you have a mansion on the water and it's 2 steps to the water and you want to go surfing. We're going to find out right now.
So hang on a second.
I say yes,
Say-
but it's setting the wrong example.
Okay, hi, how are you?
Okay, we got it back. Life back to the best.
You are the best. Thank you for picking up again.
Pono, right?
Yeah, oh, hang on. I see what's happening here. Oh. There you go. There you are.
Okay.
Okay, so we've been fighting about this. Yeah. Oh, no.
Like physically fighting?
No.
Okay.
Mark and I have been fighting about this. So I think that what you said to us is that you cannot, can you guys see him? Not yet. It's connected.
Okay, there we go.
That you cannot be on the sand at all, even if you live right on the sand. You cannot be on the sand, and you cannot be in the water up to, what did you say, 1,000 feet, right? Even if you live
1,000 yards.
1,000 yards. Even if you live right on the sand, the sand is not yours.
Correct.
Wait, okay, so hold on real quick. Let's make this clear.
Okay.
The guy who bought, the guy who started WhatsApp, he just bought a home in Malibu.
Okay.
It was like $120 million. He's right on the water. You're telling him he cannot walk out into the front of his home and go into the water. That is not allowed anymore, even if you have oceanfront property.
Did you say Maui?
Malibu.
Malibu.
Okay, yeah, so there's no private beaches. In California, all the beaches are for public use, and they're all protected by the California Coastal Commission. Specifically in Los Angeles County, it's a number of agencies that do both law enforcement and beach maintenance. So Los Angeles County Los Angeles County Department of Beaches and Harbors does all the maintenance and keeps our beaches really nice and clean. Those are the men and women in the blue trucks, and then local municipalities, depending on if they own their beach or not, are in charge of law enforcement. But the County of Los Angeles oversees all of those beaches, and with that, the Department of Public Health has issued that order. So it's an overarching health order for all of Los Angeles County. So yes, even if you do live directly adjacent to the sand, you do have to comply with the Los Angeles County Health Officer's public health order.
Well, this is why I didn't buy beachfront property. I didn't want to. This is why I didn't want to have to go through this. So I'm glad the WhatsApp guy got the house. I didn't want it.
You didn't want it anyway.
Get closed down.
Oh no, thank you so much for answering. Can we call you anytime we have a question or a fight?
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
No, but I mean, this is so historic. People are not allowed to surf in LA County right now, and that is a big headline.
Exactly.
That's
a big headline.
Yeah, it's a serious serious thing that's happening right now. It's never been done before, and unfortunately, we had to take these great measures to ensure the safety of the public.
It's really important to make it very, very clear, because it seems impossible. Like last week, I was like, this is impossible. And then here it is. It is possible. It's not going to be easy, because you have to really get the word out. So we appreciate you helping us do that. And we're just kidding. We're not really fighting.
It was more history. I've never been wrong before either. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Thanks, Photo. Take care.
All right.
Yeah, that's David.
Oh, no, I'm glad we did that, though. We had to clarify it. And we're going to enforce it now. Like, if I'm in Malibu and I see a billionaire get in the water, I'm like, back in the house,
Hey,
guy.
what did we bet again? I wanted to bet you something. What did we bet?
A Theragun?
You gotta give me your Theragun.
We'll show you guys. We'll be right back.
64 this afternoon, heading into the weekend, maintaining chance of those showers on Sunday, and then we get into the 70s 4 days in a row, at least right there. Hopefully that'll happen.
We have new numbers on the coronavirus in the United States. The number of cases has now reached more than 92,000. The United States has more cases than any other country. There have been more than 1,300 deaths in our country. 25 U.S. sailors on board the USS Theodore Roosevelt have tested positive for coronavirus. The Navy fears there will be dozens of more cases. China has closed its borders to all foreigners in an attempt to try and prevent a second outbreak there. And right now, members of Congress are debating a historic $2 trillion relief bill. It is expected to pass at some point. The president is waiting to sign it. The financial help cannot come soon enough for the more than 3 million Americans who filed unemployment claims last week.
The rapid tests that they expect to get in today, and hopefully as the days go on they will get more and more of them. You can get the results much more quickly. And right now you're looking at a map of the different locations for testing that the city of Los Angeles is offering. You see the Handsome Dam, Crenshaw Christian Center, and the West LA Veterans Administration lot, and they are trying to get more locations, more testing. That is really the focus right now.
Christina, thank you. Authorities are warning people to stay away from the RV park at Dockweiler Beach. The area is being used to quarantine people who may have been exposed to COVID-19 and who cannot isolate themselves at home. All area residents and visitors to Dockweiler Beach, Strand, and Bike Path are strongly advised to avoid the RV park for their own safety.
Yes, a lot of people here at Hermosa Beach are upset about all this, but rightfully so. They understand the situation. Take a look. They're enjoying the Strand already. This is a 2-mile stretch along the water here in the South Bay, and Hermosa Beach officials announcing last night that starting Saturday at 6 a.m., they will be closing down the beach and this Strand area to the public. This is a popular walking, jogging path, also popular with cyclists, and it does connect other South Bay communities from Redondo Beach to Manhattan Beach right here. But this is all to avoid the crowds that flocked to the beaches over the past weekend. And it's a major shift for the South Bay community because of the fact that it does connect this wide piece of area. So the piers here at Hermosa Beach and Manhattan Beach have already been closed to the public since last week. And officials issued an ordinance in Manhattan Beach to prohibit hoarding and also limit close contact and social gatherings. As you know, they are willing to consider closing down that area of the beach and the Strand as well. They want residents in Manhattan Beach to avoid Dockweiler Beach, where the RVs are being set up as a quarantine site. Now, also, if you like Runyon Canyon in the Hollywood Hills, that has officially been shut down for this weekend as well. The officers there were seen padlocking the gates to hikers and joggers because of the fact that a lot of crowds went there as well last weekend, and officials say people are not abiding by the social distancing rules of 6 feet, and they don't want crowds to congregate in that area. So again, Runyon Canyon off limits as well. There is supposed to be nicer weather to come this weekend and next week, so you're going to have to find other areas or just walk around your block to get some fresh air. Reporting live here in Hermosa Beach, I'm Sandra Endo. Let's send it back to you.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but we just got to do it. Sandra, thank you.
Distance guidelines. Like these people are seeming to take coronavirus seriously, at least from this vantage point. We saw a lot of empty beaches out there. Sky 2 was over Malibu, or live over Malibu right now. As CBS 2's Greg Mills shows us, the beaches were closed after people ignored social distance guidelines last weekend.
This is unbelievable. Never seen something like this before. Take a look. LA County beaches. Not a soul in sight.
I thought I got the whole beach by myself.
She's joking. She and her husband knew all LA County beaches are closed. They drove here from Chino Hills to see something they've never seen before.
It's crazy. It's so surreal. It's so surreal.
The reason? Last week, beaches in LA County were packed by March standards. Officials preaching social distancing realized the only way to keep people away from each other here was to keep them away from here. The mass surfer speaks volumes for life right now in Southern California. I mean, this is the reason a lot of people live here.
That's why I bought my house in California.
Now, you can't even walk in the sand, wade in the cold March water, or even bike on the Strand.
It's like a ghost town. It's really strange.
In Redondo Beach, bike lanes are closed. Gotta take the path, well, more traveled, which can be more dangerous too. The popular pier shut down as well.
And it says you can go down to pick up food. So we thought, well, we're picking up food. So we went on down to get food, but everything was closed.
We were told some restaurants are still doing takeout there. Now, this market is open near the pier. As for business?
Not good. Down more than 50%.
Chris Bredesen owns this and a few other beach community restaurants, employing about 200 people.
We've had to lay off at least 95% of them.
About 180 employees laid off. Bredesen had to close 2 of his restaurants. Beaches are closed, trails are closed. Again, recent history dictated that decision. Too many people too close took to the trails last week, so now hikers are locked out at Runyon Canyon.
That's the one thing that kind of kept me sane during this time.
Yeah.
Because it's the closest thing to nature that we have right now.
One thing I've noticed this weekend is people are adjusting to the unexpected a little better than before. In Hermosa Beach, Greg Mills, CBS 2 News.
Hiking trails, they're now being shut down to stop the spread of the virus. The crackdown on outdoor spaces comes after large crowds hit the beaches and the trails just last weekend. Megan Tellis reports now from Newport Beach.
Very different vibe at Southern California beaches when you compare what it looked like last weekend to this weekend. It's desolate out here. You have a couple of locals walking around. This is their backyard essentially. But when it comes to Los Angeles County, Orange County, you cannot access the beaches this weekend. I talked to some locals here in Balboa. Here's what they had to say.
You will never see this. I mean, no one is out here right now. And to see this is shocking because normally, even early in the morning, this place is crowded. On the weekends, oh my goodness. And so to be experiencing this with nobody out here is just unheard of. And I'm really glad if this was the announcement and people are getting it because there is no one here. That's great.
I know how to get around. I've been around here long enough. But I'm just not going to take a chance, with it. And you have to respect the fact that, it's for our own good, for doing it too. So I will go the street for a while. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of cars on the street. So I think I'll be good. I can still stretch and get some exercise and still respect the rules too.
Yesterday, in a report from Orange County health officials, Newport had 32 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Newport Beach is among 4 cities in the county that has more than a dozen confirmed coronavirus cases. Huntington Beach, Irvine, and Anaheim complete that list. Now, Orange County is not the only part of Southern California impacted. The entirety of Los Angeles County's coastline is now closed to the public. From Long Beach north to Santa Monica, LA County Department of Health announced the temporary closure of beaches, piers, beach bike paths, beach access points, public trails, trailheads, and even restrooms through April 19th. This LA County public safety alert went out yesterday, letting residents and visitors know about the beach and hiking trail shutdown. It says, in part, stay home this weekend and weekdays until April 19th. Only travel to seek medical care, do essential business, and run necessary errands. To sum it all up, this was posted on the LA County Facebook page. You can walk, run, bike in your neighborhood as long as you practice the 6 feet or more of social distancing. You cannot visit trailheads, golf courses, sports courts, and fields, nor can you go to the beach and expect to get in the water or walk along the boardwalk. And as you come back out, you look behind me, you see this sign posted here, road closed, walkway temporarily closed. Here in Balboa, this boardwalk is closed now through Monday. As for LA County in general, beaches closed through the 19th. That is the very latest in Balboa. I'm Megan Tellis. Back to you guys in Hollywood.
If you're looking for signs of normal outdoor life, you don't have to look too far. While most city beaches are on lockdown right now, Oceanside is open for business, and it's good.
So this weekend looks very similar to what you see now. From all the feedback we received is that people have come and enjoying the beach, but they're doing it as an outdoor recreational activity, which is what we want them to do. We recognize the mental and physical benefits of being outside. Help us get through these unusual times.
Like almost every city in Southern California right now, Oceanside has closed their pier, their playground, and the parking lots to cut down on crowds. Since most people are abiding, however, the beach will stay open. If they don't, they will get a polite reminder to keep your distance.
Public messaging on a constant basis, getting the message out in terms of all of the CDC guidelines for social distancing. And especially if people aren't in the same family unit, we're actually enforcing it here out on the beach.
Over in San Marcos and Vista, the message about keeping your distance has apparently not gotten through yet. Parks and open spaces are now closing down after locals kept ignoring the social distance rules.
Very sad because I just came today and doing exercise and I just have it's closed, so yeah, it's not good.
So until further notice, the parks will be closed, but the hiking trails will remain open.
I see it to a certain extent. On some of the trails, they're a little bit narrow. Sometimes it's hard to stay 6 feet away, but you're not congregating. You're passing people quickly, so you're not within 6 feet.
As long as people abide, those trails will still be open, one of the only places left in San Diego County to blow off a little steam.
I'm just hoping everybody stays positive, keeps it together, and kind of works through it,
Back on the beach in Oceanside, it is a deep sigh of relief and a reminder of how life is supposed to be. And it will stay this way as long as everyone abides.
We get a lot of very positive feedback, and we get some criticism as well. But what we're looking to do is meet the need of the public to get outdoors, the physical and mental benefits, as I said, And people, we get more thanks that we're still offering this opportunity, because at some point you're going to push people into tighter and tighter spaces if you start closing out all outdoor spaces.
So a bit of a clarification here. While the beaches appear to be open, and yes, people are walking and moving and grooving and having a good time, the official word for it is a soft closure. It's not completely opened. In other words, they want people to keep moving. If you bring a blanket or a chair or a tent and you post up, then a lifeguard is going to drive by and tell you to move on. So you can do your running, your jogging, your walking, you can do biking, you can go on the boardwalk, you can go surfing, do all those things as long as you keep moving. But once you stop and post up, that is not allowed. So come on out, enjoy the soft closure, because the sand feels really good. In other parts of town, as you know, it is completely off limits. We're in Oceanside. Dan Plant, KUSI News.